I know you've heard the song. It was Biggie's biggest hit. It was all a dream. I used to read What Up magazine. That groove.
Remember rapping Duke? The hard, you never thought that hip-hop would take it this far.
Made 1994's Juicy one of the most iconic hip-hop songs ever. But that groove was sampled from one of the most iconic funk songs ever. Juicy Fruit by the band Mtume hit #1 in 1983, and we've been grooving to it ever since. But who played that iconic bass line? Between 1973 and 1986, the band Mtume, led by the late great James Mtume, had two significant lineups. After 1982, that lineup included, of course, James Mtume, the great vocalist Tawatha A.G., and Raymond Jackson on the bass. Raymond Jackson, aka RAYJAC, is one of the great unsung funk bass players of the 1980s. When he joined Mtume, he had already been working with Roy Ayers and Charles Earland, and he even appeared on Soul Train with the group Aurra.
Ray Jackson?
In the 1980s, he made records with them, with the funk groups The Strangers and Network, vocalist Glenn Jones, and the R&B duo Dunn and Bruce Street. Yeah, these are some rare sides. RAYJAC had an incredible style, a huge sound, and an unmistakable groove, and I'm going to introduce you to him in 5 essential bass lines. Network was the merging of musicians from 2 New York bands, BB&Q and Mtume. They only released one album, 1984's I Need You on Soul Soul Records. This is an early example of bass guitar playing in tandem with synth bass, and RAYJAC owns it. It's classic, iconic, timeless. James Mtume called this the beginning of his neo-minimalist phase, and you can hear how stripped down this groove is. There's a reason it's been sampled over 100 times. The drum machine part is just as famous as the bass line. But RAYJAC makes this groove work with his articulation, the upward motion in the bass line, and what I like to call the PPP, perfectly placed pluck. Mtume's last album was definitely their most experimental, but that came with a heavy dose of funk. RAYJAC is front and center, and he's playing through an envelope filter on this track for some extra funk. Raymond Jackson released a solo album in 1988 under the name RAYJAC Redd Hot. It showcases his production, his songwriting, his singing, and naturally, his amazing bass playing. The follow-up to Juicy Fruit continues in the neo-minimalist concept, but Mtume takes the reins off his young bass player. RAYJAC is cutting loose on this track as he does the whole album. His thumb style playing was as good or better than anybody that was doing it in 1984. Truth. Like so many other great musicians, this bass player's name somehow fell through the cracks. The singles for Juicy Fruit and Juicy sold over 7 million copies, and Raymond Jackson is the bass player on both of them. And if you don't know, now you know. Thank you, RAYJAC.